Hello, Replay viewer. Thank you for connecting. I am Ami, broadcasting from Far East Japan. I have a very humid, hot summer day here in Far East Japan. So here is a weekly reminder to think better, feel better, being better for our conscious creation, living with clarity, to learn about healthy way of thinking, unhealthy way of thinking, so then we can use our personal power to choose for ideal resonance, which is the healthy way of thinking. What we think really influencing our beingness. The way we think is healthy, positive, allowing, then the world around us resonating to what we are vibrating. And the way we create the thought or scenario story is somewhat disallowing the health, then that is going to be unideal. And if we are aware of that is unideal, and then we can avoid it. Perhaps that is happening in subconscious unconscious, because we operate our human system mostly 95% subconscious unconscious autopilot, which is based on our belief system repeated pattern that actually help us to be more productive. However, when we are resonating or repeating in unhealthy way of thinking since the very early stage of our life, the childhood, and then unable to identifying it as an unhealthy, because we don't see, then we're going to be in challenging situation. So our job is to using our consciousness 5% to become aware of it. Once we become aware, then that can be the opportunity to change for something. Unless otherwise, we are just repeating pattern on and on and on and on, including healthy, unhealthy, both. So notice it, keep it a good pattern, and unhealthy way is always adjustable, always adjustable. So here's an opportunity to scan our default system and to learn it, open to the idea, and then see what can be enhancing our own system for better aim. Using this reliable information, which is the Mind Body Makeover Card, which I've been using since 2005, provided by Dr. Mona Lisa Schultz, by the way. She's a neuropsychiatrist, scientist, PhD, and physician, also a medical intuitive psychic. She's an amazing human being. I respect her work a lot. If you're interested in her work, please go check drmonalisa.com, or she's available at Facebook and Instagram. Check Dr. Mona Lisa Schultz, drmonalisa.com. That's where you can find her work. And it's very educational and then practical. So if you willing to view okay, please check. And if you are connected to YouTube or Twitch, please go check me over there at Ami Max Joy on Twitch, and search Ami Max Joy on the YouTube for live and an archives. Every Monday, I'm here to use this to get update and reminding ourselves as a mind muscle exercise to build and maintain the healthy way of thinking. Hi Mel, happy Monday, happy new week. So yeah, and we do it together, of course, that we can do it by ourselves, but doing it together as a walkout, and then that will help to get going with, keep up with good habit. So that's what I'm doing. That is for myself here, and then for my friend and like-minded. And thank you for connecting the Playview in, and always appreciate your retweet and leaving the heart on Twitter, and then also YouTube and Twitch. I truly appreciate that. Yes. Then this morning I was in a really good spirit. Then the heat was so challenging, and then on top of it, it's the humidity. It's expected typhoon soon here. I was like, oh no, and I just needed to soak into the cooler bath longer with a lots of water, and then to just cleansing the system, and then just take it easy and back here. So yeah, it's kind of refreshing still, hopefully, but I know it's going to be a very challenging week for sure. And those of you who are connecting from the US, happy 4th, and then I'm wishing you have a wonderful and safe 4th of July. Lots are happening on our planet. So, okay, let's check the reminder for this week using this card, Mind Body Makeover card, and to work on non-stop rain. Okay, yeah. The weather here, I mean, on the planet is, we are so challenged with this global warming or Mother Earth shifting weather effect overall. Some places are like no rain for too dry and becoming desert, and that's also an issue. And too much rain, that's another issue, that losing houses because too many water leakings and then washed out by mudslide and so forth. Well, hope you're having a safe, and make it as much as cozy around us. You have no rain for a while. No, some areas. Yeah. Isn't there any just the right amount? That's what maybe we want to embody, that right amount of balance, because it's overly rained or over dried out. It's like we need a balance both. So that's maybe we can embody and balancing out. And what we can do using our personal power here is to finding the way to make ourselves comfortable, physical, emotional, spiritual, intellectual, that comfort is that feeling good. So something is off, like this morning I was so good, and then the temperature is not that so high compared to California, but humidity like nearly 100%. is just dying, And I am not a big fan of air conditioning because my bodies get so cold and it's reflected. I really like to be part of the natural nature kind of, and then the body will adjust to it. But this humidity, it just needed the electric power to dry it out a little bit to make my body comfortable. Unless otherwise, it's just very difficult to sustain the healthy thought and kind mind if the body is so discomfortable. So now I feel better, and and then I realized that it's really, really helpful to have the balance, not the extreme. This is like polarity, like right or wrong, yin or yang. It's the dark or bright. It's take it or leave it. It's an old paradigm and then really like a male or a female. It's like, we need both to balance it out. And Mother Earth perhaps that reminding us to work on that. Not extreme. I mean, to me, I see that right now the masculine energy is overtaking since the invasion is the symbolic, the energetic balance that we are seeing. And it's not good or bad, but the feminine energy is need to raise more. And it's what we need is the new way to balance it out. So what I take here is that the overwhelming masculine is the challenging that it feels like a balancing out is losing the power because overcharged is need to make it balance out of it's like it feels like a losing. It has been. So it's like a against challenge to the new way of balancing. So the challenging to resisting to the change. That's what I'm noticing. And the polarity, right or wrong, this or this. We need this and find out the new way to resonate and harmonizing the energy. So what we can do as in the feminine body, that raising the feminine body with the respect of the masculine, reminding that we both has that energy. So why don't we being open and to not against it, but to respect and to find a way, at least individually, to hold that balance in energy to share with others, and then that will reflect to the like-minded and then make it bigger and bigger. And that peace within is the beginning of the word peace, right? We are just so much fight against, that's a masculine energy. Go conquering or taking over, these are masculine idea. Feminine energy is the accepting and receiving. So that's something that we like to give and open and receive. Okay, so this week I am thank you for listening. That's what I picked this week. So this looks like lower energy chakra. Okay, here is the reminder for this week. Living in society, the first energy center, root chakra, color red, which is about safety, survival, feeling being belong to, family, unity, the caregiver and mother figure, connection to Mother Earth, the life on Earth. physical. That's what the energy center. And living in society, that is something that we all need to be part of as a human being, as a person, and to grow and experience this human life. So let me share the healthy thought first. Okay, the healthy thought is I can still feel good about myself even if someone is angry with me. I can still feel good about myself even if someone is angry with me. Interesting. So the unhealthy thought is I easily get scapegoated in my family and in other relationships. I easily get scapegoated in my family and in other relationship. So let's check what Dr. Mona Lisa needs to say. This is interesting that as in a collective, I mentioned that masculine energy is I perceive as overtaking and good to make balance out of feminine energy. And as being in a feminine body, as a female, living in a society with the safe, I can still feel good about myself, even if someone is angry with me. Someone or some region, some countries angry with what we are, and then still feel good about. So the self-identity with the safety, I think it's a very feminine energy. Maybe that's how I feel at this point. So living in society, living in society. Where is it? Living in a society. 74. Oh, this is very long. Okay. So if we have a belief that we usually get scapegoated in families or other social groups, chances are that we suffered some type of abuse growing up. If we are different, unique, or unusual in some way, our tendency to stand out from the crowd unfortunately makes us a more visible target for someone who is angry and violent. Oh, I'm just noticing as in a collective what's happening in European North Side, However, if we have resilience and an ability to develop social survey, we can protect ourselves from abuse. Being socially diplomatic and assertive is both an inborn and acquired skill. If we are someone who frequently gets scapegoated and is the focus of anger, we can acquire this type of diplomacy and survey. One key diplomatic skill is assertiveness, the ability to say the right thing to the right person with the right amount of emotional intensity. This is one of the hardest skill to learn. But so surviving and thriving socially, it's important to learn how to saturate, how to safely speak out mind in the midst of the conflict in way that preserve relationships. Excuse me. People who are diplomatic know how to handle another's anger either by addressing it directly, diffusing it, or ignoring it altogether, depending on the situation. Others may become so paralyzed by conflicting that they become submissive and don't know how to proceed. To survive in any family, one must know who to just fit in and when to stick my neck out and take a risk. A combination of good timing, flexibility, and empathy makes some people socially brilliant. That's a very good reminder. I think one of my friends who came from a huge family, like many brothers and sisters, and it seems to be very good social skills. Like the environment that person grown up gives them lots of lessons to being part of the unity and part of developing an identity and speak out. You know, when you're a child and maybe you experience some sours and tenderness in both end, but learning that become a part of the skill development becoming an adult to speak out and then make a balance out of it in a social diplomacy that Dr. Mona Lisa mentioned in here. And then on the other hand, like one child in the family unit might be a difficult to being part of the diplomatic dynamic to be self and to express, or that family member, someone who is very powerful. In a sense, in the culture that I came from is the father figure, like a strong father is the head of the the family and taking all charges and to looking down on the family, the typical traditional Japanese family figure. Nowadays it's been changing, but still affecting that as a child and always looking at his face, like a father's face or mother's face or caregiver's face to enact, and it's kind of like a mental abuse and unable to speak out as a child as the way that they need to express. So that environment is a really good place to examine where you came from when choosing the healthy way of I can still feel good about myself even if someone is angry with me. I remember that my father got so angry about me in particular issue. My action came from a good heart, but that really hit him in a very negative way. So then he got angry about me. And the long enough 3-4 years he didn't talk to me. That is abuse, like ignoring, living in the same house, ignoring the family member. That is the mental abuse, which I didn't know that. But yeah, and then I was seeking that reason why and why. Now I got the why, but he already passed away, so I'm unable to share in a way that the physical form, but I'm absolutely fine and made peace out of it and truly appreciate that, even that experience. And now I can talk about it. But if you have that kind of experience, and then there isn't some kind of subconscious mind might be, challenged to be okay. Someone is angry about you are valuable, and then if that person is angry, that's their issue. That's their issue. And if they cannot speak out that anger, they need to learn how to express an emotion logically towards you. So that dynamic is a good awareness, I think. And then here, unhealthy thought is I easily get scapegoated in my family and in other relationship. So if you are empath and caring, and then a little bit of boundary issues like a oneness, and then it's kind of separate to self as from one, and then dealing with someone is angry at, and then that's a good lessons like affirming, okay, that anger is that person's, not me. And then I became that opportunity for them to become aware of their emotional lesson they can learn. That's a wonderful way to affirm him. So, and then what we can learn is like something that we did from our heart is became a trigger for someone's anger, and become aware of it, and then express, is if it's coming, noticing our own behavior or action was not ideal, and then apologize. Only did the best they know, their time from what they learned. Exactly. Yeah. And then that behavior as an parenting is not their fault, because that's somewhat their parents, grandparents is the influence. Not always knowing it can be not always knowing. Not always knowing. Not always knowing. Not always knowing. Yeah. Yeah, it is. And then, I bump into some cultural view yesterday that they don't always know it can be harmful to children. Yeah, right. But from that human communication point of view, that 3 years non-speaking, living in the same house as an adult, knowing that it's the harmful, I mean, something must be wrong. Even your child is doing it. That's my father's immaturity, and that's all good that I solved out with him before he passed. But that was my journey, that seeking what made him that way, and that came from his parent, and then that came from his grandmother, who had whom I had a very similar look and energetic component. So he saw me as his grandmother, that my behavior linking to her when he was a child. So he behaved as a child, and it was like, oh, totally makes sense. But it all came from love, and then he was unable to express his love while his grandmother was alive, all kind of stuff. So it's somehow that that was a really spiritual journey, that to get idea and insight, and then all the love and forgiveness arrived as an being part of awakening, and then wishing that to happen when he was still in his physical body. He already went the other side, and then I discovered that, yeah, complex indeed. It's a whole complex, completed oneness. Exactly. And then, so this time that as my mother is still in his body, that I really wanted to solve that. I wanted to untangling the tangles that we had, and then having. So untangling together while she's still in this lifetime body. And then I'm on the process with her. That really something that I learned from my father was, solved in the some kind of unexpected way. But so with my mother is still have a time I am still working on it, and then discovering so much from this process. So I'm so grateful for that. We are still on that journey though, but yeah. So and then yesterday that I bump into the information about the cultural aspect from Japan people in Japan, that the Western cultures is sort of like very clear, right or wrong, right or left, and spicy. It's like a salty or sweet, hot, or sweet. It's very the contrast. And think about the food taste that the Japanese cuisine is so in between. And there's always a gray area. The contrast is the 10%, 10%, and then in between 80% is the gray area. And the gray is like a lighter gray or darker gray, but it's very gray. And that is most of our life. The contrast creates the drama, but most of us is living in a gray area. So it's easy to identify it's the salty or sweet, but in between, that in betweenness, the Japanese call umami. It's not salty, it's not sweet, but it's the depth of the taste. It's like a broth from in the soup. It's like a ramen soup. It's not the tasty or it's not the salty or sweet, but it's the depth. It's called umami. And then so they developed the umami as a new language for so as the Japanese cuisine is recognized to other cultures. And I think that's sort of like people in Japan's way of taking that life. It's not extreme, but it's so gray, and then that really frustrates me. Really, like, take it or leave it kind of. It's not logic. It's ambiguity all over and unknown what is right, but it's just the right amount of fit to this particular situation, and then make peace out of it. Even we are unsure this is right or wrong, but it feels fit right now. This kind of a gray, all seems to be the collective energy is resonating and operating in that fundamental mindset. So it when doing some business with people in Japan, like corporations, and I was always with the U.S. side and to representing the proposal. but never get clear answer because of that. That dynamic is like well unsure and then never articulate right or wrong, but some sort of like a way to landing at the fit. And I'm still uncomfortable with it. It's easier for me to understand the way the Westerners, Western way of making sure and to clarify, organize. So, take the good side of both trend to bring it as on a new level. I think that's what I like to explore. And one of my work is sort of like visioning the ambiguity with the logical organization, like ambiguity about the feeling as an energy, invisible. If it's visible and then it's clear, this or this, and this ambiguity, but feels fit logically. I mean, that's something that I am questing for my work, especially the energy word and all the logical organization of our mind and emotion and spirit. Well, thank you for listening. Yeah. So that's the cultural aspect of ambiguity. And but there is a side effect to it though, that people not gonna speak out, never gonna speak out, and then when you speak out, and that is kind of like pushing down because you are too salty. No, we don't need the salt. We are kind of umami kind of thank you, umami kind of enjoyment, and then it's sweet. You are too sweet. No, too sweetness. We are kind of okay with this. So you can taste that. Japanese food is not so spicy. Think about the Indian food. It's a lot of spices, like variety of colors and spices and curries and corianders and all that passionate. But in Japanese it's like so flat and then something floating and peace out. I guess that's the way to resonate in with collective energy, and that there isn't a good part of it, the negative part of it. So let us take the good part, delicious part of that essence, and then combine with the logical, shareable, clarifiable, science-based more understanding combined together. That's going to be a more power. So, Mel, would you like to pick the card for this week's reminder? As usual, please give me the number between 1 to 10 for me, please. Seven. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For the last 7, almost 7, 5 days or so, there is a super heat alert in the region. It's a temperature humidity combination overheated on top of pandemic. And then the scary part is that COVID infected patient number increasing for the last couple weeks or so. On top of this heat, it's like, whoa, that is kind of, and then that challenging is so high. And then the power is now challenged because overheated. And the price is up, the utility. Japan is also not an exclusion for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for male. That's the worldwide. I think since the pandemic 2 years ago, we are like sharing mutual challenge most likely. The magnitude of the impact is vary to each regional conditioning and environment, but mostly we get the mutual pandemic and invasion infected, weakness or surprise. Surprising. So these are a great opportunity for us to become aware of what we can make it enhancing, in our local well-being. So here is yours, Mel. The card you picked is Healing Anger. Isn't this familiar? Healing Anger. The fifth energy center, the throat chakra, color blue. It's about communication, express self authentically. That's what the energy center. And then okay, so I share the healthy thought first and then unhealthy thought. Oh, then the anger is one of the 5 human basic emotions: love, joy, fear, anger, and sadness. Anger is something that bringing that your expectation didn't meet, or something sad about, and that causing showing up as an anger. So the other side of the anger is sadness. Sad. So healthy thought is inspired. I go after my bliss, but I am also open to the emotional reactions of others. Isn't that interesting? It's kind of like connecting to the living in society that we talked about. It's about self and the others. So inspired, I go after my bliss, but I'm also open to the emotional reactions of others. Unhealthy thought is, if I am not right, I lose control. So it's like, in a sense, a little bit of controlling issue is involved in actually having it's like once you have trained to be in the environment, to be in control as a leader figure, being responsible for something or someone or the unit or the group or family or workforce, and then got to make sure that everything is happening as the way we intended. And then if it's not happening, it's like, gee, it's not happening in that way. It's from revealing the way that we did or we didn't, So punching into your own stomach, frustrated might be really bad. I see. So punching into the stomach, or someone that, how come it's that. But that's a good reminder, is that universe is always co-creating with us. So that being open to whatever that comes, and we are not enough predicting it. I was predicting it but didn't act on it. Like, damn it. Or, maybe, but it was the universe perhaps is avoiding. Because all things happen is good for us when we use it that way and being led to that point. So somehow that we got to give up on that perfectionism as like, hey, okay, thank you, universe. I thought this is the way to go, but didn't. But perhaps that who knows what is good or bad. So inspired, I go after my bliss, but I'm also open to the emotional reactions of others. Or you could say that I'm also open to that creation with the universe. Unexpected, disappointing. Sometimes universe bring it in order to avoid the major damages, for example. I experienced that a person who had major support from the universe through something that she didn't or did, like as I'm making a mistake and everybody else in the family complaining about how come you didn't do that, how come you always late, how come you lost so important things, because we got to take this plane for getting there on time or something like that, because of my friends did or didn't something, and then entire family missed the boat, and then the boat is crashed as an accident or so. So that frequently happened when she was a child, and then that made her feel like, well, everything is being guided, right? Even she was not intentionally lost something, but because of that, entire family got saved from the accident. So she had a totally different association to if something didn't happen as the way she planned. That's what only the planned. But because it didn't, might be a better wellness we are receiving. So that's totally true. But when we are so into it and being responsible and dedicated to some creation or responsibility, and the perfectionism really challenges. So it's a great reminder. So I'm sending healing to massage your anger and to peace out with some sort of like new scenario possibility or ease to invite in, allow that to guide the path, something that more than you thought it would be as an unexpected happy. Yes, indeed. If we know about that, yeah, if we know about that, and then our path is already pretty much done. We already transformed into other dimension, right? So unknown future is there, and sometimes it's the pain to give birth to something precious that which we are unsure yet at that point. Oh, thank you, Mel, for connecting. And it's a great way to start in the new week with you. So let us connect our energy, including the play viewer. Thank you for joining if you're still here or just joining here. Let us connect our energy with simply reminding that we are enough and we are all connected under one sky, whether you are located in sunny day or rainy day region, or cold or hot weather, dry We are on Mother Earth, being part of the universe. And air all around is also connected. So let us connect our energy as one energy in taking all the air, oxygen from nose and oxygenation through our body. And then exhaling slowly from the mouth. And then we know that deeper breath is really heating our body. And then again, I bumped into over the weekend that counting 7, it says that 7 inhaling. Oh, no, it's the 1, 2, 3, 3 count inhaling, and then hold that air for 7 count. And then exhaling with 8. And that actually to do something with the brain, bringing the cold air from the brain and cooling down, and then to exhaling and then just align to mindfulness state scientifically. So let's follow that scientific specialist suggested in taking air from count 3 and hold 7 and exhaling with 8. Ready? Let us take a long deep breath, counting 3, 1 now, 2, 3, hold it, hold it, hold it, and release slowly from the mouth. One more time, counting 3, 1, 2, 3, hold it, hold it, and release slowly from the last one. When we exhale in, let us connect our energy as one energy that we are co-creating. Feel the energy of oneness. Ready? Let's go. Hold it. And exhale as one. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your presence, Mel. You have a wonderful evening, and let us make this week fabulous week to co-create our wishes as a new reality. I see you and I see you. Bye. Thank you.